Knicks-Pacers get going a few days from now. On Monday, a 2 seed versus a 6 seed, but they're only 3 wins apart throughout the regular season. A 50-win team versus a 47-win team. So what's one thing to watch from this series, Trey?
Whoever controls the pace controls the series. The Pacers, we know they love to fly up and down the court. They finished the season second in pace behind the Washington Wizards. What? And the Knicks, of course, were 30th in pace. So to me, that means the Pacers, they're going to try and run on makes and misses. That's a given. They also got to force a bunch of turnovers, and they got to find a way to keep the New York Knicks off the offensive glass, because the Knicks pound the glass during the regular season. They make even more of an effort, I feel like, come postseason, because Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson are going to be going crazy for the offensive boards. They're more physical players than Myles Turner is. And then Josh Hart comes in, just flies in, gets 17 to 20 rebounds as a guard. Pretty incredible stuff. They also like to play that slow down ISO style of ball with Jalen Brunson getting his booty into guys. So I think it's a big question. How are the Pacers going to combat the Knicks' physicality? Because I don't feel like the Pacers handled it all that well against the Bucks. When the Bucks looked their best, they were playing slow, they were beating up the glass, they were posting up. These are all things that the Knicks like to do as well, and that the Knicks are better at, and the Knicks are healthier going into this series. So that's a big question mark for me. If we're looking at a Knicks series where the games are really, really slow, they're going to win this one pretty easily, I think.
Interesting. Now, the Knicks do have some injuries in that Bogdanovic is out. So in the series against Philly, they went 7 deep. They just went 7 guys and 2 guys off the bench. So the Pacers love to run, obviously, coming off the bench. So I wonder if the Knicks can handle that. I assume they can, because they do have 3 days off. I mentioned that this starts on Monday as we were recording here on Friday. So 3 days at home in New York. I think the Knicks will handle that well. I do think the pace is everything, though, in this series. You're totally right. Halliburton said it about the games against Milwaukee. The games we won, we dictated the pace. That is exactly what happened. And the Knicks are so good at offensive rebounding, so that slows down the pace a little bit. And the Pacers weren't all that great at defensive rebounding in the regular season. They were 26th. But I don't make anything out of the season series between these two teams. It really doesn't matter. I know people say, well, they scored 140 and 125 in 2 games against the Knicks, but there was no OG Anunoby in either of those games, in any game they played. They're starting Taj Gibson at times.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, remember that? That was a different Knicks world where Taj Gibson.
This season.
That was this season.
That's crazy.
But now with Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson, who was able to get back healthy at the end of this series, those are 2 guys that can deal with Myles Turner and will freaking rebound every single time. But yeah, the Pacers were on fire in those games. Like, they were shooting, it's 47% from 3. I just don't see that happening against this New York Knicks team that seems to have everything together. But let's get to an X factor for you, Trey. Either team, wherever you want to go.
Andrew Nembhard, to me, is a big-time X factor in this series, because I think he's going to be getting the majority of the Jalen Brunson assignment. He's a feisty defender. He's strong. He's quick enough, because Brunson ain't going to be beating you with quickness. It's just a matter of staying down on pump fakes, not getting put in jail by Jalen Brunson time and time again. And we know the Knicks like to run Jalen Brunson into the ground. They're going to go pick and roll 3 out of every 4 possessions, it feels like, with Brunson handling the ball. So that's the defensive end. Nembhard has to make it tough for Brunson. And, in the Philly series, it was length that was bothering Jalen Brunson early on before he started scoring 40 every single night. Maybe that means Aaron Nesmith will get a little bit of the job as well, but I think Nembhard at least starts there. On the other side, Jalen Brunson probably is trying to hide on Andrew Nembhard. Nembhard had a really nice series in the first round, 13 points per game, shot 60% from the field, 45% from 3. They need his defense, and they need him to do something offensively as well to punish Brunson for hanging out on him on defensively.
Yeah, Nembhard was really good. He blocked Damian Lillard in Game 6. They were just recovering seriously well. And those guys, and Nembhard, Nesmith, who had a good ending to that series, they're going to need to be good, because Halliburton is going to be guarded by everybody. They're going to do a decent job. And Halliburton isn't the same guy that he was at the beginning of the season, dropping 30 and able to do what he did every single game. Again, in the wins against the Bucks, 12, 18, 24, and 17, he didn't need to be good. So Pascal Siakam is going to be a big factor against OG Anunoby, former teammates, I'm sure, going to be guarding each other. That's huge. I think Myles Turner will be pretty big in this series as well. He's my X factor just because, we name all the guys that really helped out Halliburton and Siakam, Nesmith, Nembhard. They're going to be guarded extremely well. There's going to be a DiVincenzo out there guarding, Josh Hart scrapping around. Myles Turner is such a good three-point shooter. He's got to let it rip. He was awesome in the first 5 games before having a really quiet game against the Bucks. 22 points and 47% from 3. Those shots are going to be there against Isaiah Hartenstein, I think. Yeah. Joel Embiid had those shots against Isaiah Hartenstein, so that's important stuff. He's got to be really good, just because I don't think the Pacers' depth is going to be as much of a factor against the Knicks as it was against the Bucks when they were just running against the oldies, against all the old guys.
Yeah, Turner's got to stay out of foul trouble.
Right.
You don't want to see Isaiah Jackson out there in this series.
Yeah, the Isaiah Jackson looking good against the Milwaukee Bucks. All right, let's get a prediction. Knicks, Pacers.
Oh, I'm back. Spoiling your pick, huh?
Yeah.
Spoiling your pick here? Oh, man, this is exciting. Love the history in this series. I mean, OG versus Siakam, that's pretty crazy that these guys were both traded at midseason. Suddenly they're going to be guarding each other, and I'm with you. Like, that's a big-time matchup. When the game slows down, Siakam has to be big-time for the Pacers. Then, of course, you throw it back to the 90s. Reggie doing the choke sign to Spike Lee back in 94. 8 points, 9 seconds in 1995. Larry Johnson's 4-point play. Roy Hibbert blocking Carmelo Anthony at the rim to go to the next round of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of great moments between these two teams. Hopefully we get some more classics as well. But I think back to that first round series against the Bucks and how the Pacers had a pretty tough time putting away Milwaukee, even though there was no Giannis Antetokounmpo out there. Dame Lillard missed some time and was not totally himself in Game 6. I thought Milwaukee was too easily able to control the pace against the Pacers, and I think the Knicks are even better at that. I'm going Knicks in 5.
Yeah, and I do think, 5, that the lights will be brighter in New York than they were in Milwaukee. And the Pacers weren't incredible on the road. The oldies were doing a good job. They were 1-2 in Milwaukee, and I do think, the veterans of the Knicks and how they play will overcome that. I can't go 5, even though the Pacers did well at home. They obviously dominated there, but the Knicks just aren't going to be as old and slow as the Bucks were in those games. I'm going to do 6. I'm going to do the New York Knicks in 6 games. Yes, I gave it away before as I was predicting.
I think it's a classic pick. Skeets is a Knicks in 6 guy as well.
All right. Can't wait to see that. Can't wait to see a lot of things.